everyone, I'm Laura from Kin, and today we are working on our center split stretch with a short yin sequence, and we're just going to do 2 postures building up to the center split stretch hold. And just a reminder that with our yin class, we hold the poses or the shapes for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes even longer, and we're working on getting in and stretching out the connective tissue, the joints, and the muscles in the body. So definitely increasing our flexibility. So today I have 2 blocks as my props, and I have a blanket. So if you have a towel or a blanket at home that you can fold up, this is just helpful for underneath the hips. If you have a tight low back at all or tighter hips, it can be helpful. So we're going to start here. I'm sitting right on the blanket, and we're going to begin with a butterfly stretch. So we'll bring the soles of the feet together in front of the body, and just take a moment from here, and with your hands reach under and just scoop a little bit of flesh out to the side so that you really feel rooted down into your sit bones here and pretty balanced. And then you're welcome to bring the hands onto the feet, and you can always slide the heels a little more forward. And we're coming into a forward fold from here for the first yin stretch. So that means we're going to gently round the back and let the forehead drop forward. And where we might make use of our blocks is right here underneath the forehead, so that we have something to land down onto, because we're going to be here for a little while. So I'm going to see if I can make these blocks work for me so that I can completely rest the weight of my head once it reaches them. So as always, close the eyes and take a big inhale, and exhale as you start to enter your pose very mindfully and slowly. There's no rush in this yin practice at all. We actually want to take our sweet time coming in and out of the poses. And you can, of course, adjust the blocks as needed to suit your body, to suit your level of flexibility today. It's going to feel really good to be able to release the tension in the back of the neck, so there's no longer any holding on, any gripping, any tightening in the body. And we're simply going to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose as we hold these postures. And so our yin practice is much more passive. You can see there's no cranking into a position here. There's no rush to get into a deeper pose. We just allow our body to do the talking here and to tell us when we're at our edge. And try to just become an observer of the sensations in the body. And maybe an observer of the mind, noticing what thoughts are coming in and moving out. Without any judgment at all. Just observing. As we hold these postures, we start to increase flexibility, and the body starts to release more and more the longer that we hold. So that might mean that you can adjust your blocks if your forehead wants to come down a little further. You can also just test it out and see how it feels, and of course if it feels like you've gone too far, then back up again.
And you should feel some pretty deep sensation across the low back and through the lower part of the spine and through the sides of the hips. You're doing great here. We're going to hold this posture for another minute. You might need to do a quick body scan and just make sure you're not tensing or tightening anywhere, or rather just letting the body go. And less than 30 seconds to go here. Let's try to fully enjoy the sensation in this shape. We'll take a few more breaths. All right, very gently, just as slowly as we moved into the posture, we're going to begin to slowly curl our way out. So walking the hands in very gently, starting to lift the head and rolling upright in the spine. And take a moment from here just to feel those sit bones again. So let's take the blocks aside for a moment so we'll take a little in-between stretch before we move into our next posture. So bring your knees together and just lean back into the hands and separate the feet a little bit and let the knees windshield wipe side to side. Okay, so just freeing up any tension left over from that long hold. Okay, next posture that we're going to move right into is a frog stretch, and it will feel a little bit like a frog. We're going to take this blanket and just bring it out in front of the mat a little bit, and you can slide your blocks out of the way as well. So we're going to come forward onto hands and knees and begin to send the knees wider and wider away from one another. So I can already feel a stretch here pretty strongly in the groin, so those inner thigh muscles are where you're going to feel the majority of this stretch. Now just check in that your ankles are in line with your knees, your feet are flexed to keep the knees protected. And then from here you can come down onto the elbows, forearms. Let the forehead rest down here. And this is our shape. So all you'll do from here is you'll inch the knees further away from each other. You'll feel the hips drop heavier towards the mat. And you might be even closer down to the floor than I am. You might be up a little bit higher. It's all good, wherever you are. And of course, check in. If the pressure is too much under the knees, then you can always pad up under your knees. Just grab yourself some extra towels so you can make this more comfortable if you need to. And we'll send the breath and the attention to the inner thighs. We start to create more flexibility, more opening and stretch there. Some poses, of course, can feel a little more intense. This is one of them, so feel free to breathe a little more deeply. To accommodate the sensation. Every once in a while, let your head gently turn left and right, just making sure that the neck isn't tensing up here, and making sure that everything that we can completely relax is relaxed. All the facial muscles and the jaw. And in our yin practices, a little bit of discomfort is okay. We, of course, do not want to experience any pain, any sharp pains anywhere in the body. But we're often in a little bit of discomfort in these longer holds. So this is quite a deep practice for the mind as well, just to overcome these peaks of intensity that we might feel from one posture to the next. We're about halfway through in our frog position, so this might be a good opportunity to readjust or send the knees a little bit wider. If you're cringing through this and this is really uncomfortable, then you might back off a little bit now and really try to enjoy the last half. The breath is moving in through the nose and out through the nose. Please just take 5 or 6 more breaths, and then we'll make our way out of this shape slowly. And about 3 more breaths here. Two. And 1 last breath. All right, good. You can, of course, hold this stretch a little bit longer. So if you feel like you're just touching the top of the iceberg here of this pose, then please do stay for a few more minutes. Otherwise, we're going to very carefully come on out, and you might feel slightly stuck here. So we're going to take our time pressing up into the hands first. So we have that support under the chest, and then you can slide one knee in at a time and the foot, and then the other. There we go. And you'll probably feel a little something there. So let's actually drop the hips back over the heels and just come into a nice little child's pose. Let the forehead drop in. And as you inhale, roll back up, lengthening out the spine, and we're going to make our way right back down onto our bottom for our final stretch, which is our center split stretch. This is what we are working up to. So bring your blanket behind you again so you can prop up your hips if you need to. Okay, we'll do that same little shift of flesh so we can feel ourselves rooted on our sit bones. And then here we go for our center split stretch. We're going to send the heels nice and wide.
And we'll begin up here, and we'll begin to slowly fold forward. So once again, we can use our blocks underneath our forehead. And readjust them as you need to. So inhale and exhale. And start to just slowly move and inch your way forward. Again, just as far as the body allows. Our bodies have the innate wisdom to tell us when we've gone too far, when something doesn't feel quite right. So it's just tuning in and listening a little more closely. And remember that you can adjust your blocks to support underneath the head. So I'm going to prop this right up on its highest setting so that I can completely relax my head. Take a scan through the body, making sure you're not tightening or gripping or forcing your upper body down, just rather releasing, just letting go, enjoying the stillness, noticing the sensation through the backs of the legs and down the inner thigh muscles, in and around the hips and the low back. We're about halfway here, so we can adjust again. Knowing that we have some more time, we might try and work the heels out a little bit wider. Slide your blocks forward if the chest is coming down a little bit closer to the floor. And the feet are pretty relaxed here as well. Observing the sensations in the body, observing anything going on in the mind. We'll do our best to keep the mind clear, so if thoughts continue to come in, just release them, let them float on by. You can always come back to them after your practice. And breathing in through the nose and out through the nose.
Final 5 or 6 breaths. Getting quite close to the end now. Let's take a final breath in down here. Exhale. And just begin by gently lifting the forehead and walking the hands in towards the body. Slowly and mindfully. Coming up to center. And just take a moment and really allow everything to just rebound. And we can lean back into the hands, soften one knee at a time to slide the heels in, and we'll come back to windshield wiper with the knees, letting the knees drop side to side. So those 3 postures are going to help to gain flexibility through the inner thighs. So working towards that center split stretch, you can take longer holds, start to work the heels out further away from each other, and start to work the chest down closer to the floor. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining. Have a great day.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. If you're enjoying what we're sharing, please give us a like, and you can also subscribe to this channel below.
And if you want to follow us along on this journey, you can find us at kin.co or on Instagram at kinsite.